feels so different when I wear nude lips because I'm always such a red lip person, pink lip person. I feel like I'm giving off like Regency vibes today. Hi, my name is Yana. I'm a modern ajumma. It is the middle of the year. I am in high summer now. It is strawberry and fig season, my favorite. Oh, cold. It's not all just cakes here, baby. I have my porita. This is barley tea, cold from the fridge. I drink it every summer. Let's get started. Let's check in for the midpoint of the year. Number 1, best book I read so far. I Love You, But I've Chosen Darkness by Claire Vaye Watkins. I knew within the first page of reading this that I was gonna love it. And then throughout the reading experience, I kept being surprised at every page just how much more I found myself loving this and feeling really unsettled because I felt simultaneously seen and like I have nothing to do with, like I am not relatable at all with these characters. Like I'm nothing like these people. We have no common backgrounds. But I love that. I loved reading this book. I loved reading these stories that are like criminally underwritten about and under talked about. And just something about this captured my heart. I knew in my gut this is the best book that I'm gonna read all year long, even though I read this like in the beginning of January, I think. And since then, I have read like other booktube hotties like Claire Louise Bennett, Sigrid Nunez, but this is still hands down the best book I read. Number 2, best sequel. Oh my god. Yves Saint Laurent, Haute Couture in the Catwalk series, published by Yale Press. This is one of those huge like fashion coffee table books. So far I've read Prada and Vivienne Westwood, and now with reading about Yves Saint Laurent this year, I can't help but feel that the Catwalk series really gets these designers correct, and they're very well represented of what their brand is all about. I'm really impressed, and they look so good from the spine. It's not like I want to collect them all. I mean, first of all, these are pricey. The first in the series is Dior, second is Louis Vuitton, the third is Yves Saint Laurent, fourth is Miuccia Prada, fifth is Gabrielle Chanel, the sixth is Vivienne Westwood, seventh is Chloe, eighth is Versace. That's the most recent one that came out in 2021. I have like no idea what they're planning on doing next, but if I were to choose, I would be first in line for Giorgio Armani, Ralph Lauren, Alexander McQueen. Am I planning on getting any of the other series out so far? Probably not, because I don't really have much affinity for those other brands. But even so, I really am impressed by this series. Number 3, a new release that I haven't read yet, but I want to. I have done very well so far this year, like immediately reading a new, like upon purchase. Pat on the back to me, well done. So the only book that I could think of for this category is The Unwritten Book, An Investigation by Samantha Hunt. At the end of last year, I was so enthralled by Samantha Hunt. From The Dark, her short stories, From the Seas, and I just bought like the rest of her backlist. But the paperback for The Unwritten Book came out this year, I believe in April, and I haven't gotten to it yet, or any other Samantha Hunt, which is a travesty. Number 4, my most anticipated release, the Sofia Coppola archive from MAC. Oh, when she announced on her Instagram for the pre-order, I clicked add to cart so fast. I'm so excited for that one. It comes out in September. It's like a birthday present to myself. I'm so excited to see her curated notes and ephemera from her career. It's gonna look so beautiful and give me so much nostalgia. Like her movies came out when I was in college as an art student, and her aesthetics defined my 20s. They were peak. Number 5, what was my biggest disappointment? A Table Full of Love Recipes to comfort, seduce, celebrate, and everything else in between by Skye McAlpine. This I bought, like, I pre-ordered it. I have her first book. I thought it was fine. So I was like, yeah, of course I'll buy her second one, and it looks pretty. I mean, it looks very pretty. It's very pretty. But do I want to eat spinach and lemon soup? Does she think that my kid is going to eat a tomato mozzarella and black olive tart? I mean, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. But overall, from like her writing, her POV, what she like offers in this book, for me personally, was a big nothing. I didn't get anything out of it. I kind of regret buying it. Yeah. Number 6, what was my biggest surprise? Love is a Pink Cake! Irresistible Bakes for Morning, Noon, and Night by Claire Patek. Peach Leaf Ice Cream. An absolute disruptor of a cookbook. I mean, the big brains in this, the care, the gravitas that went into this cookbook with a clear, empathetic message of keeping local farms and their people in business by not just becoming their customers, but by changing your purchasing habits, by bringing back that personal, in-person shopping for quality ingredients, like less Amazon Fresh and more personal relationships with real people. And the implication of her caring about your health, which I understand is ironic considering considering this is a baking cookbook and there are a lot of baked goods and cakes in this. And the recipes are genuinely so intriguing. They sound so good, every single one of them. And they're fresh, like they're new, like new concepts in baking. Yeah, biggest surprise. Number 7, favorite new author, either new or new to me. Sigrid Nunez, hands down. Her spare, big brain, restrained but emotional writing, so good, breathtaking, devastating. The Friend, I have to say, is my favorite, but What Are You Going Through is so good too. I have Salvation City from the library. I'm looking so forward to The Vulnerables later this year. Number 8, my new fictional crush. Sally Mills from Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. I don't normally find neurotic women attractive, given that I am a very heterosexual woman, but she is the main character who falls in love with like a hot stud rock star who I cannot get out of my head is John Mayer, but Sittenfeld writes the characters so tenderly, like I basically felt like I was John Mayer, falling in love with Sally. This is such a fun, summery book that had me giggling and like clutching my collar. Number 9, favorite new character. Laura Bush from American Wife by Curtis Sittenfeld. Yes, Curtis Sittenfeld strikes again. No, it's not really Laura Bush. The character's name is Alice Blackwell, but it's a fanfic of Laura Bush's life about a very normal lady and her relatively mundane life that I love. And I love this book so much and found so much to love about this character. It was like looking at someone you've known all your life, but not really ever paying attention to, or really thinking about her or looking at her until you actually do, and then finding so much there, like so much more than you thought. She is like the heart of the ocean necklace that Rose has hidden all her life, but she's also Laura Bush. The mysteries and intricacies of a woman's heart. And yeah, Curtis Sittenfeld, I have become quickly obsessed with her and her particular brand of escapist romance. Number 10, a book that made me cry. Whale by Chunyongwan. This book is so wild, and I didn't expect it to go where it did, and most unexpectedly to go to that tender ending, like the whiplash that I got from this tight pacing, all the loops, motifs, character connections, and the pain, the suffering, the hardship they endure, and it all culminates to that ending. The bricks. This is one of those books that leaves you into like a husk of a person. It doesn't sugarcoat anything. It didn't tell you any lies that you wanted to hear, only the bare, unglamorous truth that life sucks and it's hard. There are no tricks. There's no safety. And in the end, we're all alone. And if there was ever a moment when you were happy or you felt love, then you were lucky. And it's worth any amount of pain and hardship to attain a moment of that human connection before you die. Oh, this is so Korean. I guess it's kind of like that, you know, those Korean spas where they like scrape off your dead skin cells. And it's unpleasant. Sometimes it could be downright painful, but you emerge fresh and unvarnished. Number 11, a book that made me happy. And The Pursuit of Happiness by Myra Coleman. I mean, it's in the name. But not only was this beautiful and charming and whimsical, but it felt like a time traveler to the optimistic days of the Obama era, which is when this book was written, and it just felt so hopeful, so sweet, so like innocent, evoking like homemade pies and spelling bees and neighborhood parades and summer vacation travels and reflections on the meaning of citizenship. Yeah, I smiled as I read this. It gave me nostalgic childhood feelings of like cotton candied memories of great American ideals. Number 12, the most beautiful book, The Dutch House by Anne Patchett. I'm sure that sales of this book rose just from the cover alone. Like, this is a gorgeous painting. I mean, I personally was one of those people who bought this book just for the cover. But at the time, I had no idea about who Anne Patchett was, like what she's like as a writer. Like, I was pretty skeptical and kind of thought that this is like an old lady book and not for me. But reading These Precious Days last year, which I loved, and then finding out that Tom Hanks read the audiobook for this, I'm so glad to finally have read this year, because this is actually a very good book. And I find Anne Patchett to be an incredible writer. She is very mature indeed. Like last year, I read The English Patient by Michael Ondaatje, and that book also feels very mature, and I liken that book to reading the equivalent of like a huge plate of broccoli. Samesies for Anne Patchett. Anne Patchett, she gives you like your whole day's serving of vegetables in one of her books. Oh, and I absolutely love Anne Patchett's Friday backlist recommendations that she does on her Parnassus Books Instagram. I'm reading Commonwealth by her right now. I am so excited for Tom Lake later this year. Number 13, books that I still need to read by the end of the year. So out of the 23 books, I've only read one. One out of 23. Frankly, I'm surprised that I read even the one. And it's a win that one made it into this Midyear Freakout Tag. Am I worried that I'm not going to make it by the end of the year? No, absolutely not. Do I still intend to read most of them by the end of the year? Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of these books to me are like very summer and fall books anyway, which I do have a summer TBR video coming up where I talk about like summary books or like books that I think should be read during the summer. And like during the fall, I feel like classics are such a fall time. But yeah, overall, this year has very much been overtaken by the library holds. No complaints. I had a lot of fun. It is what it is. So how has my reading been going so far this year? As of the end of June, I've read 73 books. I have 67% fiction and 33% nonfiction, which I'm very pleased about. I typically try to shoot for like a 70-30, so this is great. 64% of my books read so far is shorter than 300 pages. 32% are 300 to 500, and then 4% are 500 plus, which I do want to get that number higher, which is gonna happen because I do have some big boys waiting for me later on this year, like Anna Karenina. And my most read authors this year, once again, the baddest bee, AC, at 16 books. which no complaints from me. I'm glad it's only 16. And I am reading other books from these other authors, so the numbers are gonna shift by EOI. But like as far as the feels go of how this year has been so far, has been great. Like I feel plenty of, surprise, plenty of emotions, fun. Like a lot of the books that I've read so far has been a romp. And while there have been quite a lot of lit fic, a lot more memoirs than I anticipated, like I've been enjoying them all. At the moment, I'm not really wishing for any like big changes. Like I'm having a good time. And I hope that you're also having a good time with your reading life, watching me have my reading life, watching me eat. I hope that you're having a great day wherever you are. Thanks for watching.